got one more thing right on top of all the things that you had going on that were bad to begin with.
I need a home.
To make this
Well,
happen.
people need all kinds of help, both physically and emotionally.
What I asked for.
Have you applied for FEMA?
I called the FEMA number, but they told me I had a hearing thing for 15 days.
Meet them at that white table.
They have to put everything on that table and they come get it. I said, you gotta sign the name. I
Because
said,
you
otherwise,
sign in, and we make sure they receive it.
And I don't know if you've noticed when you pulled up, but all the stuff sitting out front, that was delivered on a truck this morning also. That's going to be going to different places. $3.5 million in medical supplies.
Well, that is
That
so
came out of,
needed right now.
that came out of the state of Georgia.
That's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
We've gotten help from all over the country. This has been amazing what people have done. And thank you guys for taking the time.
Thank you for taking your time to come down here to see us.
Well, we've got almost all of southeastern North Carolina devastated. It's a really bad deal. So we've got to help. We got short-term help we got to get people like this, and we got to get long-term help.
Yes, sir.
Too. So we'll keep working on that. Pure devastation. So many homes and businesses underwater, along with churches and farms. Clearly, there's a lot of people who are hurting right now. The heartening thing is the unshakable spirit that people in eastern North Carolina have. People who are determined to make it through this storm, neighbors who are determined to help each other. And I think you've got county, state, and federal officials who are here who want to try to make things better for people who are trying to put their lives back together. A lot of people I've talked to didn't have a whole lot to start with, and now after the flood they've got nothing. So clearly we have a big job ahead. We got a big job in repairing our roads and our infrastructure and water systems. And we also have to be smart about rebuilding strong. And I believe that we can, and when we work together, we'll get through this.
And so I know I asked you this a couple of days ago in Brunswick County, but what's your game plan for the next couple of days and the immediate future on getting these people into homes, getting them into places that are livable, and making sure they can actually live for the next couple of weeks?
We're working closely with FEMA on our temporary sheltering program, which provides people with subsistence to be in hotels and to pay rent until they can find accommodations. We have the long-term affordable housing issue that we're going to attack with everything we've got. And we want to try, though, to help people right now. A lot of people have medical issues, particularly those with chronic diseases, making sure that they get treatment. We want to make sure that people have got food and water. We still got people in some shelters because they don't have a place to stay yet. But I know that we're all committed to trying to help everyone. And we also appreciate deeply the communities of faith, people of faith who have helped out. The Red Cross, the Salvation Army, the Baptists on Mission, countless groups who've stepped up to help people in need. And we want to continue to support them as well.
There are a lot of farmers in Bladen Borough who rely on their crops for their income and their livelihood. What are you going to do moving forward after the storm to help them regain strength and to get their feet back on the ground?
A lot of our farmers were teetering on the edge because there have been several bad years in a row here. Particularly we had Matthew in 2016, so a lot of our farmers are leveraged to the hilt. So we need to step up and help them unless we want farmers to go out of business, which I don't think we do. I met with the Agriculture Secretary, Sonny Perdue. He came to Duplin County the other day. I also met with him in Raleigh. I think we need more than just a farm bill. We need some significant assistance to our farmers that takes into account the cumulative loss that they have felt. I know that we're working closely with the congressional delegation. Our legislature goes in session next week. We want to provide some assistance to them because crop insurance is not going to be enough to help them to the point where they need.
And in locations like these where people are just saying that they just recovered from Matthew 2 years ago, I know a lot of money is given out to people in these areas because they were destroyed. So when you're coming back to these areas, is there something you're going to do differently in the rebuild process? Is it worth putting all the money into these locations again if something might just roll through in a year or two again?
We put over $750 million out in helping people from Matthew. There's still people who need help from Matthew. We've just had 2 so-called 500-year floods within 23 months of each other. Clearly we have something different than a 500-year flood. We got to make sure that we build in a smarter way. That means I think you'll see more buyouts, more as we rebuild, making sure we've got mitigation and elevating property that needs to be elevated to protect it from flooding. We need to clean out our streams. We need to understand that we're living in a different world now. We've got to make sure that we protect our environment. Families deserve clean drinking water. So as we move into this, we're going to be collaborative about it, bringing people together to make sure we make the right kinds of decisions.